Away from the markets now, the week-long spring meetings of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund begins today in Washington, D.C. The meeting has on top of the list key issues such as tracking corruption, international financial flows, and investment efficiency in sub-Saharan Africa. Also on the agenda of the finance ministers, the central bankers and policymakers are seminars around East Africa Monetary Union, chasing flexible inflation, gender divide, blockchain, and digital economy for Africa. Nigeria's finance minister, Mrs. Kemi Adeosu, and the central bank governor, Godwin Emefiele, are among the country's delegation at this year's event, and even Nigeria looks to conclude critical bilateral deals such as the power sector investment pledge of more than $500 million by the World Bank. The release of the latest World Economic Outlook report kicks off formally tomorrow, Tuesday, highlighting the current macroeconomic and financial status of the global economy with forecasts from the World Bank and the IMF team. Nigeria's leading oil palm producer, Presco PLC, today announced an earnings per share of 25 naira 40 kobo and a cash dividend of 200 kobo for shareholders. The earnings show the oil palm company's net profit of 20 billion naira, boosted by a tax credit of 45.7 billion naira during the final quarter of 2017. But while sales went up some 44%, Presco boasted a massive 133% jump in operating expenses, a 29% increase in net finance charges, while its biological asset revaluation suffered 85% reduction. Appian Quest analysts report that the underlying results of Presco PLC shows that the company made a pre-tax loss of 62 million naira in the fourth quarter of 2017. South African glass bottle maker Consul aims to raise up to $290 million via an initial public offering. This returns the firm to public markets after more than a decade in the hands of private equity groups. The flotation, penciled in for April the 30th, comes amid growing confidence among investors and business leaders that President Cyril Ramaphosa will follow through on promises to revive the economy and bring policy certainty. Zimbabwe's consumer price inflation eased to 2.68% year-on-year in March from 2.98% in February. Data from the National Statistics Agency today shows prices fell by 0.25% in March after a 0.08% increase the previous month. Zimbabwe has recently suffered from the impact of multi-tier pricing, currency premiums, and speculative price rises, which has threatened to sustain pressure on inflation. Meanwhile, Angola's inflation declined to 20.9% in March from 21.47% in February. Data from the Statistics Office shows that inflation quickened to 1.44% from 1.26% month-on-month. This is the lowest inflation rate since February 2016. Inflation rate in Angola averaged 36.52% from 2001 until 2018, reaching an all-time high of 241.08% in January 2001 and a record low of 6.89% in June of 2014. Egypt aims to raise its revenues from taxes imposed on tobacco by 7.072 billion Egyptian pounds, or $402 million in the 2018 to 2019 draft budget. The country's finance ministry is targeting around 58.524 billion Egyptian pounds, which is about $3.33 billion in revenues from tobacco taxes. The government is expecting revenues of 51.452 billion Egyptian pounds, which is about $2.93 billion from the tobacco taxes this financial year, which ends in June. Egypt has been increasing taxes and cutting subsidies to narrow its budget deficit as part of economic reforms tied to a $12 billion International Monetary Fund program aimed at boosting the economy. Now, KPMG South Africa is reviewing work done by its partners in the wake of the resignation of two partners who faced disciplinary charges. The latest review will be in addition to other internal and external reviews that have been carried out since last September to date. KPMG says the purpose of this new program is to assess the commitment and quality and professionalism of its engagement teams. The auditing firm has also started and expanded the process of integrity and background checks of all partners and their spouses, which will be coordinated by KPMG International. Additional non-executives on the board will be appointed to ensure independent scrutiny. Still ahead on Business Incorporated, an Egyptian farmer uses aquaponic fish tanks to fertilize produce. Please stay with us.